Am I first?
No, the clock is, no, you're not first,
Oh,
I'm
you
first.
fixed it. I'm first. Okay,
It is time for reorganization. And I make a motion that Roger Fancher will be chairman and J.D. Hager will be vice chair.
I second it.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
Now,
Move.
do your fruit basket upset.
I can just sit here, he just moved down here in the middle.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
There'll be cookies and punch after the meeting. No.
Now it's my turn?
Yours is
first.
turn.
I promised her first. Yes, she did. Well, what I wanted to talk to you about 2 weeks ago, I think that's become a non-issue, so. Oh, okay. I'm not even, it was about doing Stafford School nursing.
Oh, yeah.
And, well, the hospital was doing it. They quit. They're not doing it anymore. And she had approached us about doing it, and I had considered it, but during Christmas vacation, of course they didn't need anybody. I left her a message. She didn't call back. She left me a message when I was out, said she'd call back, and she never had. So I'm guessing she got it took care of. I'm going to call her and make sure.
How do you find a job with it?
I don't know. I don't know what's
I would think you have to be.
2 or 3 hours.
They were doing 2 hours a day. They were going at 7:30 in the morning. I'm not doing that. I'm too spoiled. That's true. You know, I'd go from 9 to 11 or something. But, anyway, so I'm not going to bring it up till I talk to you.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're not in charge. You got to respond when they say stuff.
I was thinking of something else, I'm sorry. Normally I consider it daydreaming.
Already paying attention. Okay, I did bring you up
You're doing good.
my 2011 statistics, and you can see from these that our patient load is stinky. It's down from last year. I kind of penciled out.
Oh, they're both
Sticky, it's up or, yeah, it's down, you said?
Yeah, I don't like it. I penciled out to the side last year's total on the numbers. I don't know where they're at. Why?
They're down?
Yeah, our WIC numbers, we're down like 30 people on WIC.
I'm surprised.
Me too.
I mean, I'm just sitting here keeping.
Me too.
Do you think that's in response to the economy?
Well, you'd think I'd have more numbers.
Yeah.
But do you think the economy here is bad?
Yeah, don't you? No?
In Stafford County?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have like a .39 unemployment rate.
Well, I'm talking about income. We got a lot of people that don't work at all. They're not
That's their
employed, they just
choice.
never worked.
They're only not working because it's their
I
choice.
know that.
Well, you're always going to have those, but it's not because the economy is.
So anyway, you can see that income's down as well, but income is down because some of the grants have stopped, I think. Anyway, I'm not very happy with the numbers.
Well, your immunizations are up.
No, they're not.
They're
Just
not?
flu shots were a little bad, but not immunization. They're down 100 and some. Everything's
Oh,
down.
I'm misreading this. Your 210 is penciled in.
Hmm?
Your 210 is penciled in.
Oh, yeah, that's last year. So you can see
Oh, I was doing
everything's
it wrong
down.
too. Okay.
Everything's down except for miscellaneous stuff.
The big jump you have is 2009, looked like it's pretty good coming, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, well, that was, 2010 was a good year.
Yeah, but I mean, jump from 08 quite a bit from there to 9
Yeah.
to 10, yeah.
I think it's back to more normal, 2011.
Respect about that.
I'm pretty impressed over the whole.
Don't get too complacent.
Why?
I mean, 12 will be a barn
Per
burner.
year? I hope so. Now about my shed, gonna fix that. didn't do it.
Directing this at you.
I walked in there and there was stuff everywhere.
She's a safety
And I got
officer.
irritated because I thought, well, somebody knocked the stuff down and they got stuff off, they should put it back. I picked up something and there's a flat, good cat underneath it. So,
Been there quite a while, looks like.
at least 30 days, because it's been 30 days since I've been in there. Flip it over, so it's on the other side. So, anyway, I had to throw quite a bit of stuff out there.
There you go.
Pooped on and pooped on and,
Sorry.
Been-
um,
been.
but that shed, don't worry, I can't even send it. Without those difficulties, so send your guys out.
I'll have Dave come take a look.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Do you have anything for me?
Happy New Year.
Thanks. Okay.
That's it?
We gotta change the chair.
Yeah, you do, you need to go clear down there.
That's it?
Thank you.
All right.
Happy New Year, right?
Here, JD already looked at that, but you didn't know how to build a bomb shelter.
Oh, a bomb maybe, but
For the 50s, you said?
Yeah.
The prices
that's
are
kind
good.
of interesting.
It's rather an antique.
That was down there.
Urgent.
In the room.
Oh, the old sis room down there?
Oh, that's actually pretty cool. That needs to be preserved.
What I came up to do was, the annual township meeting, we'll have it on the 19th of,
Man,
we'll have it on the 19th of March.
what's that?
Annual township meeting
Okay,
with the township boards.
don't do one thing at a time. You want me to look at this? This is kind of cool.
At the lodge,
Yeah, I don't think we want, yeah, it works
or you
better out
could do it
there.
over here too.
No, I would rather.
Why?
It's up to you.
Food's easier to clean up over out there.
It's up to you.
No,
You want it at the lodge?
yeah, we'll do it. I'll ask for the lunch. March 19th, that's a Monday.
Okay with me.
Other than that, they're about done with the room downstairs. And
It's looking good.
I didn't go down this morning. I was back last week. Very impressed. Looks great.
so we're gonna get her to go do what needs one done.
Which is,
So you've already turned that?
The wall.
They're gonna be about, yeah, I mean, as soon as they get to.
Oh, in the storage room?
Just whatever, even.
So that put up
spaces
carpet to
down,
get
you
that
think?
easier.
well,
to
how
Um,
many demands do you
no.
have right now?
But I'll see if I can find out what he's working on.
To keep
Well,
separate for
yours
separate?
could probably use it.
See if I can take a look. I don't know if he does.
I don't know, we just want to ask about that.
Yeah.
Here.
Being long with
Yeah, I don't know
CTS,
if
he opened a store down nearby.
But I
Right
was
there
just
at the corner.
thinking if they just even
Yeah,
put
they're on the
space
store.
inside for parking.
Used to be a
He
flush.
does flooring, but
Yeah,
I think
but
this
they
is
would
more
have to
tile
build,
and,
each,
No,
each
that
one
carpet.
would have to
yeah,
have some.
I don't think.
He does
he's in
flooring
that.
and tile
See,
or
it's a little
surface
hallway.
work.
So you'd make a hallway
Check
inside.
to see
You
if
have
he
to,
does.
Yeah.
because each one of us would need our own door. We're gonna go in there and look at it. Gonna have to.
You discussed that with her, what she's talking about, making the hallway and all that stuff. What happened to all the doors we took out of there? Could we use them for your,
When you take it out of where?
out of the annex?
They used quite a bit out there at the fire station, I think.
We had like 30 of them though. The interior doors is what I'm talking about.
I don't know if anything's left over there. So I couldn't tell you.
I don't know what happened to them. I was gonna try and salvage them and I don't know what happened. But they should be adequate for that, I would think.
You guys got anything?
Talked to Roger.
They're supposed to be delivering an excavator here this week, so. We're gonna have to dip and sand and start pulling up some roads. Get some crown in them.
on the,
Or recycled roads, it's just too flat.
But the worst one, we'll do the gets for crowding the whole thing.
So I need to go talk.
I was gonna point out that, it's been a month ago, you had a crew up there working in sewer, they were filling in a hole. They came through sewer about 60 miles an hour.
Why?
I don't know.
Was it dump truck?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll take care of it.
it was way too fast.
So your pickup, sit on the dash.
You put this in back window if you want to.
What is that?
It's a present, it's a Christmas present.
I don't need another distraction. I have to focus.
I know, I'm gonna have to remember that about you, one thing at a time.
Well, I'd get some meds, huh?
Oh, yeah, they can make this
You know, some days I think I need it.
one.
I don't have
Okay, and you said you wanted to go anytime for the trip?
any. Yeah, I'm free.
Okay. We'll try to get this set up here in the next 30 days. That'll be before you lose your time, then.
You want to do that prior to the township meeting?
Oh, yeah, I think so. If you guys got some day you prefer, just let me know.
I don't have my daughter's basketball schedule. Other than that, I have no preferences.
Okay.
But I think it's Thursdays and Saturdays.
No problem.
Bill, you looking for a door? The door? Is that what you looking for?
Interior.
Oh, some interior doors.
Oh,
Yeah, and, well, I mean, and then the other, I don't know.
So Hillary's gonna come today?
Is
Hillary,
TJ out there?
our accountant,
Okay.
Joe
Well, that's
Sheetak.
about burning the dish.
It's all okay
Break in the new guy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
here. So you're good.
Very good article in the paper, Steve.
Oh, thank you. It was a very nice service for lenders and real well attended. And Parklife did a good job. Underguard from Great Bend came up and they had a lot to it too.
And the other was, you never know when you need a hospital.
Oh, I did read that.
And I've actually, while we're on that, I swung by this, I was at the hospital this weekend, and this was from Brenda, that she wanted me to pass on. It was a letter from her to you guys. And, I guess that's for you guys too. I've visited with Rita, the gal that you got that's kind of helping right now, and sharp gal. And I don't know what the final outcome of the hospital will be, but I mean I do think that you got some great people over there. I mean certainly with the finances the way it went administratively, we had some problems to get to that point, but. You got some top-notch nurses, and it's a great resource to have in the county if we can afford it. I want to kind of make that plug. If I could have an executive session for 15 minutes to visit about non-elected personnel.
I'll make a motion, we executive session for 15 minutes for all elected personnel.
A second.
Been moved and seconded to go into executive session for 15 minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Stafford, Fire Chief Sanders over there had purchased he'd placed an order with Wise Fire for some gloves for a little over $500, and they're rescue gloves, and the bill inadvertently got sent to us over at the county, and those are rescue gloves, not, really the city staffers shouldn't be paying for rescue gloves. And I would have just went ahead and processed the bill, but it's just a bit over $500. So I just wanted to get permission to do that. It's just a little bit over $500, but really, the city staff shouldn't be buying the rescue gloves. That's the rescue the rescue operation for the county. So, with your approval, I'll go ahead and pay that bill.
Need a motion? Who wants a motion?
Okay, I'll make the motion, we pay for the rescue gloves for the county.
I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
And I'll have an annual report put together for next week. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
See you tomorrow.
We've got,
I lost it.
Establishing the banks in the county. These are the annual resolutions we do every year.
Okay.
We designate all the banks in the county as official depositories.
All of them. We don't pick one.
No, wherever she can spread it out, she's.
That's it.
Okay, I make a motion, we adopt resolution 2012-1, which is the county deposits in the American State Bank, St. John Farmers, American, St. John National, and UMB of Hudson.
I'll second the motion.
Been moved and seconded that we
Adopt resolution.
adopt resolution 2012-1. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried.
Then the next one is the cash basis accounting.
I'll make a motion, we adopt resolution 2012-2. What's this for?
It waives the requirements and just directs that all statements and financial reports be prepared on the cash basis law.
I second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. We accept resolution 2012-2. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Been carried.
Now we got the county newspaper. I gave you the one that, didn't I mail you the one
Yeah.
from
Yep.
Central News? Okay, Stafford Courier emailed me this morning, his bid, I guess you would call it.
I'll get serious.
He is a penny per line cheaper than the St. John News. He suggested alternate the official paper between the two papers in the county every other year.
Okay, I'll send you and see what they need.
Alternate the papers. I thought about that myself. It's not a bad.
I like the coverage we get. I mean, he covers Baxville and, I don't believe Stafford goes over Baxville, do they, for paper?
I don't read the staff and paper, so I don't really read the staff and paper. I couldn't,
I think your St. John paper has more coverage probably.
at least in Maxwell area. Maybe
Wasn't there some issues about them publishing official notices and stuff?
St. John?
Yeah.
Well, you gotta watch them, they'll get them in there.
Whatever you like it.
And you can think about this, we can do this one next week too. If you want to talk to the whole paper.
It's got this morning, you said.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, let's defer that to next week.
Okay.
It's okay with me.
The mileage rate, currently we pay 48 cents, the state pays 51. We want to change the mileage rate. We haven't for several years.
I always paid what the state did, so I don't know.
I don't know what the IRS rate is. I just put that
IRS is
down.
58, I think, or close to it.
Never there.
You can wait till next week on that one too. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you what to do. Oh, go ahead.
I think 48 cents a mile is reasonable.
You want to deal with it now?
You wanna leave it at 48? That's fine.
I think, I mean, it's away the other problem.
Do we need a motion?
Today? Today is the ninth.
No.
And we'll figure out the newspaper next month.
Okay. You got something?
I have a recommendation for Ladonna, a salary increase. It's her yearly step increase. And just want to mention, she's the motor vehicle supervisor, and she's done really well on all the new responsibilities being handed down from the state. So she's done really well with that, so.
All right. Same range, right? That's just, and you said this is a yearly.
Yeah, just her yearly.
I make a motion we increase LaDonna Garcia range 4, step 6 to range 4, step 7.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded that we increase LaDonna Garcia's salary from range 4, step 6 to range 4, step 7.
Effective
February 1st.
All in favor, say aye. Motion carried.
That's some people out there. Yes. We're supposed to be good.
We got some tax roll corrections.
These are all oil and gas.
One of them's personal property and the top two are oil and gas.
Corrections or the settlements?
One of them, that personal property's in a vacant. I think the oil and gas will just, this guy should have had it to this guy, so it's just added in the vacant.
This is. That's it.
I make a motion we approve these tax roll corrections.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded, we approve the tax roll corrections. All in favor, say aye. Debbie, sign that. Anything else?
Is this?
Oh, KAC sent your annual dues notice. It's based on population. I'm assuming you still want to join KAC. That was the only reason I didn't go ahead and just pay it.
We have all ears to keep us informed of what's going on in the area. Hopefully do some lobbying for counties up there.
Is this required?
No, I just wanted to basically find out if you're still going.
Well, that's not cheap, is it?
No, it's, the second page tells you how they come up with that figure. It's,
Based on
take on
population.
our population, I don't know,
I
valuation.
remember talking about last year. Okay. Okay with me.
Cool. That's it. That's all I got.
Ready to adjourn?
You're not gonna get away with that.
We have some people out there.
We got, there's 2 out there. We're supposed to have 9:30. They're supposed to be at the stuff.
Hospital's supposed to be at 9:30.
Yeah, they with the hospital out there. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're waiting on everything else.
You might read.
Want to recess?
I think that's a good idea.
Reorganization.
But 1, 2, 3
It
was
wasn't
anyway.
willingly either. On his part or yours? Mine. sir, let's hear it.
We're requesting $555,000 for no fund warrants. That's the amount of the outstanding accounts payable as of 12/31.
Is there any way we can cut that down?
No.
No?
No. I don't, there is $100,000 in cash currently roughly in the bank account, because we had 2 large swing bid payments that came in. I have a request from Promise Regional Medical Center to send them $100,695.61 by tomorrow, or they'll discontinue services for pharmacy and therapy by January 29th. We've had 3 vendors in the last 2 days of last week who said if we didn't pay them, they were sending us to collections. One was the telephone leasing company. The other one, I can't remember what the other ones were. I cannot get blood out of a turnip. So although going forward, it is my opinion that we can cash flow the operations based on the cuts we've made and the roughly $475,000 that you guys have in cash from tax. There is absolutely no way for us to get $500,000 or even another $100,000 out of anything. The cost report will probably be closer to 30 to 50, depending on how, because we've also, our volumes and our costs have dropped, so proportionately should be about the same. However, we've already been getting an increased rate since the interim cost report was filed, so we've already gotten part of that money in our daily deposits for Medicare. If you really think that the voters are not going to support that, and there's going to be a protest and a vote, then my professional opinion is the hospital will close. I do not know what else to do to help to cash flow, because people are not going to continue to, people are not going to continue to provide services to the hospital that they can't get paid for. So if that's really your thought, that the voters are going to protest and not support it.
Well, they protested due to election, right? So that means
Earliest, if we call a special election, we're talking June, Nita?
Well, because there's a 60-day, from the time it's published, there's a 60-day waiting period, I guess, for the petition. And then after that.
And then you have to give out notice of the election.
So we couldn't do it in April? We're going to struggle extremely between now and then. If there is no other money, because essentially everybody wants to get paid now. They've already been not paid for 4 months.
Does not include the early tax distribution? The normal tax distribution we're going to give you, is that not going to
Right,
help?
but that's not supposed to be able to pay 2011 stuff. That
No.
we have to have that to pay 2012, or at August, September, October of 2012, we'll be back here with the exact same problem. We spent all the money that we had backwards, and we have.
I just didn't know if that was going
No
to buy
money
time
for
during this
that's what I
petition
thought.
process.
What he receives to buy you time to get.
I thought that might buy us.
But I need some time, except
I know, you've got.
vendors are not happy.
Is that done by resolution?
You're not going to understand.
Absolutely.
Well,
Exactly.
be published until the week after
Absolutely.
that.
We've tried to make payments, and we have made payments. We've selected, big ugly corporations have been on the last part of the list. We've tried to pay the local guys. The food vendor is on a cash basis. If we don't give him a check, he doesn't deliver. We've tried to pay the local people, because that affects our ability to operate on an immediate basis. We've had to sign an agreement with the city because we haven't paid the electric bill for 4 months, so they set us up on I think it's an 8 or 12-month plan for next year, which will be money backwards. For last year's
Right.
stuff.
Well, I think our thoughts were, and we probably need to clarify this, is that we were giving you money forward so that you could catch up. Understanding that your money would run out, but that would give you enough time for this process to happen. That's where I thought we were at. Are you telling us that isn't the way
No,
it's
I'm
gonna
just
be?
saying it's going to be very, very difficult to get all the way to June. I just was thinking we would do it in April. It's just a difference in expectation, that's all. Because how long will it be after the vote and the election before we get the actual cash? It'll be another 60 days
Well, we have to publish it in the paper and then
Well-
like 60 days. I mean, that's how that statute.
to start, yeah.
To start.
But after
We
that,
publish our, resolution,
Intent, yeah.
then we wait so many days to see if we get a petition seeking
60.
That's,
an election. Then we have to give, then the commissioners probably have to resolve to have a special election. That's not automatic, because the next countywide election, as I understand it, is August.
is the primary.
So the commissioners, I'm assuming they'll authorize a special election, and then NEDA has to do, as with any election, the requisite publication notice in the newspaper. In other words, we have these time constraints, we can't waive them or,
can't hurry.
bypass them.
Okay, if we publish the resolution, it takes 60 days. If there isn't a protest, then how long after that?
Well, if there's no protest,
Right.
That's what
we
you said.
issue the no fund warrants.
Just right
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
So then,
If
if there is a protest, then I understand we go through the other. And then if the election is to go ahead with them, then shortly thereafter we'd have it that way,
Well, yeah.
time schedule
It
wise.
doesn't take long after the results are.
I understand the
My
other part.
understanding is you get it past the state.
But we may, like you say, we may not have a protest.
Right.
Enough people doing it too.
But either way, if we don't, we'll have the money shortly thereafter, the 60 days. And if we do, then after the election, if it passes, then we'll have the money shortly after the election. There's not another 60-day lag
No.
period or anything.
When would the second half of the taxes be paid?
Pardon?
Second half taxes are due when May.
In May.
So
May?
you're talking about cutting checks in what, first week of June?
Yeah, there'll be a distribution in March, and then there'll be one in June.
But they're getting their first half now,
Right.
correct? They're not doing it in quarters anymore.
No, they're getting their regular tax distribution, but they usually get about
Usually over half.
over half of it right now,
I see.
because that's the amount of taxes that were paid. Depends on what people pay their taxes. So, yeah,
They get
they're
elections
getting,
up front.
the January one is always the big one.
There's always-
March is so-so, the June one is bigger, and then the others are real small.
Okay.
So there'll be a little one in March, and then one June 5th, which might be a little bit bigger.
Hi, Steve. Sorry.
I came in late, but I had wondered if the group had ever pursued the idea of, and this is just another possible channel for funds to assist, but the St. John Hospital Foundation. I know that when I first came here, had pursued getting an ambulance and was not successful in that, but I do know they have a considerable amount of funds that possibly they would, I don't know if they've been asked, I guess is certainly, I would think it'd be appropriate to ask. It's Stafford County.
I think that's a great idea. How would we go about doing it? And who would go about doing it?
I think it's rather odd that you have a hospital foundation that there's no hospital here. Not to say that there wouldn't be one here in the future, but we do have a hospital in Stafford County and it needs funding terribly bad.
I don't know the rules of that particular foundation. The three foundations I'm involved in, their money is not to be used for operations. I have no idea if that St. John one, we can go ask.
That was the way our foundation was too, was to be used for capital improvement.
I hate to sound like a troublemaker, but is the $500 $55,000 going to be enough? I note in 2009, you had an operating loss of roughly $750,000. In 2010, you had an operating loss of $775,000. I obviously don't have the figures for 2011.
This is what I handed out at the last meeting, which shows the projected revenues and expenses based on the cuts we've made. So we will be short $10,530 a month unless revenues pick up, which is $120,000 a year over and above what the county has already committed to us for tax money, or roughly about the same amount as this year.
Yeah, but this is for 2012, though. I was talking 2011.
Oh, 2011, the loss for 2011? The loss for 2011, as of the end of November, was $810,841. That's not a cash number. That's the profit and loss number. That's not quite accurate going forward, though, because we have had layoffs and resignations. We've also changed several contracts and canceled the $46,000 a month health insurance. And so that 2012 is a projection based on the changes that we've made.
And we're not through cutting expenses.
You finding some other,
Keep chipping away.
Well, most of the cuts that have been made will start showing up savings till this month because of people's personal time off to be paid, and health insurance wouldn't be a savings till the first of the year because the old plan was in effect till the first of the year. And if you remember right, that was a significant amount of money.
$30,000 a month.
That's your projected savings on all the cuts you made?
No, the health insurance.
Oh,
Just the health insurance.
Just by the
What
same.
about the cuts you made so far?
The labor?
Now, the no funds are for 4 years, is that right?
They have to be,
And
as a matter of law, they have to be paid back in 4 years. There's nothing prohibiting you from paying it back early, but the furthest you can
Stretch it out.
stretch it out to 4 years.
4 year periods on there, one way or another.
So if you're talking $555,000, you're talking, I'm gonna say 7 mils. Obviously, our valuation's gonna change from year to year. I'll throw out the term 7 mils, possibly 8. So you're looking at around certainly 2 mil increase a year for the next 4 years.
And you're not thinking you can generate any of this money at the hospital to pay?
Well, obviously, that would be our goal. And so any money we generate would be a reduction in the amount of the $475 tax money. I mean, let's just pretend that things are great, people come and it's fabulous and wonderful and we're making money. Absolutely, I will come
That's
and
your
ask
goal, is
for,
to
yes,
pay these back to the
I will
hospital.
ask for less amount each year going forward that we can self-generate. Obviously, this is the highest number we've ever had. There are other months that or other years that we've had lower requests, and absolutely, the $475 was just an estimate. If we don't need it, we'll only ask for what we need to get us to that. And there are no reserves of any kind. So, although a lot of people don't understand that, you guys do, I know, you deal with it all the time, that's very important. If something breaks at the hospital tomorrow that costs more than about $500, we don't have the money to pay for it. Did we clear the insurance request for the part of the fire suppression thing? We figured out we didn't have to have it.
we don't have to have that, right?
Yeah, we don't, as far as we know, we don't have anything huge. The maintenance guys are still putting around making everything
Well, the two things we were hoping would help with the accounts receivable and then of course the Medicare adjustment, which you said has already been adjusted halfway, so we're already getting a larger payment. So that's just not going to amount to very much at the end of the year.
I don't anticipate that it'll be a lot because, so we mentioned, the way that it works is you're taking your total expense divided by your Medicare volume. Both of those numbers have come down. And so the amount that Medicare owes you, we don't anticipate is going to be big. You already got a bump in the pay mid-year, as well as a cash adjustment, so that they paid you what they owed you to that point, and then also increased what they paid you on an interim basis going forward. So my best guess is that you will see some money coming in, but as somebody mentioned, I'd be surprised if it's more than $50,000. And that money you likely will not see until June, July.
Medicare's not really swift.
No,
Just in case you had figured that out
except
yet.
when they're collecting.
Right.
Yeah.
I realize this is not the number you wanted to hear. I have no other tricks in my hat. I can't, I just don't know what else we can do. We have maybe a couple FTEs that we can eliminate, but that's going to take a little bit of time for scheduling purposes to make sure it will work. We have some people that aren't in the right place or not doing the right job, etc., but not really any more cutting hours. I do believe there are things that we can achieve in changing contracts, but we got to be able to pay the bills in order for someone to come in and say, I mean, yes, I can do it cheaper, but you got to pay me on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and that's where until we get out of these couple that we're in, at least they're providing services through the end of the month.
Another thing that can happen that will perhaps produce more volume down the road is that I'm not sure that there's been a good job of marketing the services that are available or how highly skilled the nurses are at that facility. And so I think there's a lot of things like swing bed, for instance, skilled care has not been used probably to its maximum. I think it's a good chance to go back, try to talk to people in other hospitals, make sure we get those patients back, begin to see if we can increase that Medicare skilled care load. So but it takes several months to get those things going. We've already developed a brochure and trying to get it to the people that need it, but it takes time.
I agree with you there. I mean, when I was on the board, I made a real emphasis to say this is a county hospital and bring this hospital to the county, and they started in those efforts. We had, I think, 1 or 2 meetings with some RSV, what is it, the retired senior home? No.
RSVP?
No, that's not it. But there's some senior groups around here, and they met with them, and actually got a few patients from it. And then they just quit. And what a better source, but getting out in Seward, Radium, Maxville, Hudson areas,
Exactly.
explaining to those people what services are provided, things like that. Well, those things don't cost much money, it just takes a little effort. And
It does, and providing patients who are in the emergency room the information in print that says, you can come back here after your surgery and we'll take care of you. Family has that when they leave, they're more apt to bring their loved one back after surgery or whatever. So there's a lot of things that can be done, but it takes time.
I guess what probably people want to know is, are you optimistic? I mean, if we go ahead with this 500, are you optimistic that the hospital will be here and continue to be here and stuff?
Yes.
You think it's going to?
It's not perfect, we're still short.
I understand, but you're thinking it's going to be in an area that's going to be, sustain itself.
It's never going to be a huge moneymaker.
I understand.
So,
Rather than have to come back to Welling, you think to get this over here, this over this hump, that we can, where we have on a day-to-day basis, people who have a hospital in camp.
yeah.
That's one thing that's been very frustrating for us is as we go through and we're making cuts and making changes and looking at this stuff and we see the light at the end of the tunnel and then you've got this debt hanging over your head. It's been very frustrating for me. We've got to get rid of the debt and then we think we can, we think we can move forward just fine.
I think the taxpayers would be more encouraged, and willing to with the no fund warrants and possibly not have a protest if they know that this is going to
Right.
fix it and go ahead and go forward and keep our county, keep our hospital in county.
I'm not saying there won't ever be tax money. I mean,
Understand,
there has to be, there probably will be some, always. But yes, obviously, our goal would be to be as self-sufficient as possible and to reduce that annual tax levy as much as possible going forward.
There's a lot of things that are happening internally, I mean, every day, and
It's not a quick fix thing, I know that.
no, there isn't, and,
It didn't happen overnight to start with.
but you've got a good staff, they're committed to making it work, and I think Pratt's, my attitude is, if people aren't committed and working while they're there, then that's another change that needs to be made. So I think what you'll have is a very productive staff going forward, and I think good things can happen.
Well, if we issue these warrants, would you guys be willing to have public hearings
Yes.
before there's a protest?
Yes.
That's what you would like?
Yes.
I don't know quite how to proceed or what would be the best procedure, but obviously it'd be in everybody's benefit if there wasn't a protest. My attitude has always been this needs to be the public's decision if they want to close it or keep it. It needs to be, at least the public needs to be informed, and best way to do that, I don't know how else to do it. I don't want to hold up the process. I don't think it's wise to hold up this process and say, let's wait for public hearing and comments. I think we should go ahead and publicly start it, if that's
Well,
what
to start
we're
with,
going to do.
if it's defeated, it's defeated, and there's,
The taxpayers will decide it for you at that point.
at that point.
And I think,
But we should, if we do start it, we should plan on a couple of public hearings, if not three, and just
You
assume
need to
it.
be
If
informed.
it's defeated, it's all, they're making a decision anyhow, that's what I'm thinking.
If you hear from anyone specifically what they'd like to know, we can present that. Otherwise, I'll just present a general financial, where we are, what we've done, where we were, where we are, what we're gonna do in the future.
Well, what the public needs to hear is basically the questions that we've been asking. You know,
This is going to be able to,
Is this something that we're going to have to face every year? Is there really hope? Are you guys making the changes that are necessary, and explain your changes and how it's going to work? And then they can make an informed decision. Just like, I mean, the same basic information we're getting is what the public needs.
Long-range goals, i.e. position recruitment,
Those
extended
issues also need to be
services,
addressed.
expanded services,
Yeah, how are you going to
It's
tell
whatever the
people
market
in my
will
part of the
bear.
county why they should bear more of a tax burden? Explain that to them. I haven't told you. It's not easy. But on the other hand, you'd be surprised how willing people are to listen, especially when it comes to their health. And I can remember one discussion that I was having where they were like, oh, we're 500,000, that's terrible, that's terrible. And I said, think about it, that's just a couple of patients. And they're all going, yeah, I've been there. And then I started hearing stories about medical care.
how much it costs.
Yeah, so people are aware of that. And it is a lot of money, but it's not a huge amount of money in the medical field.
Right.
And so they also understand that this is not an unsurmountable sum that we could manage.
I also think there was someone from this area that had a really tragic accident, a week ago, and how awful that must have been. And while they were 6 miles from Stafford Hospital, they could have been 40 miles from another facility, and what that would have been like for the family.
That's a very good point.
So, I think when people relate to those kinds of incidents, then the value is escalated.
Right. That and the fact that maybe that there is a possibility that this thing.
just like the couple from New Orleans, I think they're pretty appreciative of the hospital
Yeah.
and taking the chances of going on to Dodge City, so.
And they're doing fine, by the way.
Yeah. But it's things like that that we need to make public aware of. And there's been many times that, I've got to go to Hutch and I've got to be over there at 6 o'clock in the morning and I can't have breakfast. And I said, you could have your blood work done prior to, and you could have had your breakfast before you even got to Hutch, so.
And the
they're
results
not
more
aware.
likely would have been there waiting for them.
Yeah. So,
So, yeah.
I think we gotta
marketing
do
is one
a
of
lot
It's a
of
huge issue.
PR
Huge,
work.
Huge.
PR, marketing.
And I don't think one time in the newspaper or something like that's gonna do it. You know, and we have a new county website, you know, you guys can, we know the webmaster very well, and she's very willing to put stuff in there regarding Stafford County on our web, so. And it looks like, you know, maybe Stafford County needs Facebook.
You know, you don't
I mean,
discount
social
any
media
options.
today
Exactly.
is-
And certainly a calendar of events on the county website,
Yes.
or, you know, and we're hoping to develop some outreach clinics, even with, for instance, a cardiologist from Wichita or whatever. And as you do that, if you can add that to the county website where people do go to read the commissioner's minutes or whatever, those are very helpful things.
Well, what's the next step?
So if we go ahead to, is that right, that they have 60-day, it's published for 60 days, and that during that period they have time to get a petition if they so desire, and it takes a certain number to.
5% of the people who voted last election,
Just 5% of the registered voters.
or 5%.
So we're just saying if, now, and possibly they won't, they possibly just may go ahead and go on through that.
I don't know.
Because that's a pretty low number, I think.
So I'm gonna be
So it's like
pessimistic
12 or
about this,
16.
I'm gonna be optimistic.
Is
I've
that-
got 23.
Oh, 300, okay.
So
It's 1,200 to vote.
if the resolution is passed today and is published the following week,
We had figured there was only.
is it from the time it's in print? Is the 60-day, the clock starts at 60 days when it's printed or when it's
I'll
resolution?
look at the statute. I'm
It
thinking
says-
60 days from date of
It says
publication.
within 60 days after the publication of such
Yeah.
notice. Yeah, I've got the statute right here, so.
So if we do the resolution today, it will be printed by next.
You don't have it ready for today, do you?
I have it ready for today, we can get it for you this week, I'm sure.
Okay.
So next
Whenever
Tuesday.
you're-
Bedtime for the newspaper is, I
But it
believe,
won't be
Friday.
printed, if you would sign it next week, it won't be printed until the next week because of the newspapers.
You're like, well,
Especially with Martin Luther Day.
Unless, of course, the commissioners choose to recess today's hearing, in which case you can come back later this week without having to do all the notice of a special meeting.
Oh.
If you do your usual adjournment and you want to sign something this week, you have to have a special meeting and give out a
We
notice.
recess and come back
Yeah,
in.
but if you just recess, you can sneak back in here later.
Oh, it's snake.
Well,
No sneaking.
Because my tail, that's
well, I probably say that because you're typically in the larger towns like, Salina and Hutchinson and Wichita, every time they recess and come back, the news media just crucifies the commissioners.
Well, personally, I'm willing to pursue this. I don't think we have much choice, really.
No, yeah.
So you think a couple of days?
I'm super busy today just because they had too many Mondays cancel out, but what I'm going to do is give Kevin Cowan, a friend of mine in Wichita, a call and basically have him do it. We'll take it out of my budget, that's not a problem. But have him whip out that stuff and get it up here. Because I learned a long time ago, if you're a carpenter, don't try and do electrician work.
Do you think it'll be this week?
I'll give him a call today, I'll ask him to put him in his file. The beauty of calling someone like him is that's basically what he does for a living. You got about 3 firms here in Kansas, Gilmore and Bell, Triplett and Wolf, David L. Corey's firm that do 99% of, bond issues, temporary notes, stuff like this. It should be on a word processor.
You'll be gone Thursday. Well, the deadline for the newspaper is 10 o'clock on Friday.
We could do it Friday morning. Or
If he has
Wednesday.
his stuff
I will
back,
call,
but-
I'll let Nita know today.
You have that by Wednesday.
Well, if we're gonna do it, let's get the process rolling.
I agree.
It's just so to delay, it just causes ABS to and I don't know, what do you guys think about, I guess I'm asking you guys, as far as public hearings and stuff, what's your opinion? And what would you like to do, if anything?
On public hearings, I think we need to get started right away, and it was mentioned before, maybe having one in the annex here at St. John, and go to some of the other communities.
I think you ought to at least do Maxville, St. John.
Everybody, yes.
And if you would like, if you'd like to come up north, I think we could probably find it.
I think it's important to reach as many people as possible.
I do too, absolutely, and the personal public where they can just come and talk to you and shake your hand and discuss it with you.
We'll ask the staff members to come so they can talk about any specifics,
So,
but it'll
I'm
be,
thinking as many as 4 meetings.
Right.
More than once.
Oh, surely not, gosh. If you have 4 meetings in a community this size, that ought to be anybody that has any interest.
Everyone has opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's 100 miles to each town. And I'm not sure that many is even necessary.
we'll make sure we get.
Let's have a couple and see how it goes and see.
But
We
it's
can
an
always have-
opportunity, if they do not attend, that's
If
okay,
nobody's showing up, then
you know?
We can have 2 and then wait a couple weeks and have the other 2 so that,
they would do it pretty closely together.
We also need to let them know that
Yeah.
we're open for questions at any time. They can always call us at the hospital, and,
Now, do you have your own website?
yes.
And you do need to link to the Stafford County website. Have you done that?
I think it is linked to this.
I'm not sure if it
I'll have
is.
to check and see.
Do you have Pat's code?
Do I? No.
Special
I don't think I have.
which is something you don't use.
I know we won't be able to reach people up north, but of course the resources at the senior television station are available for recording and broadcasting those things and uploading the different meetings.
How
So,
could they access that?
Rachel, we can give you the link and we can put it both on the hospital website, and I can send it, and she can put it on the county website. We can keep a copy of it on the Shepherd Center website, as well as broadcast it to St. John and Maxville.
What else we can do? I mean, it's there, if they're interested, that's about all we can do. But
oh, you'll have some people who say they weren't informed and.
I know, but, if we're putting the effort out, you'd be surprised. If they're interested, they'll be there, so.
Well, and I think what you said earlier certainly applies. I mean, I think we need to make it personal.
It is personal.
Exactly, and
It's very personal.
I think sometimes it deflects from that when we look at only it as a business arrangement, because that's not what it is. It's more than that. This is
It's personal when it comes to your health, and
You
personal
bet.
when it comes to your pocketbook and your
Both.
taxes. It affects everybody in every way. It just, oh boy. So, we need a motion to do what? To do that, right?
Motion to issue the no-fund warrants, the amount of $555,000 for purposes of, for benefit of the component entity, Stafford County Hospital, to be retired in 4 years. I'm assuming we're going to go to full 4.
Yes.
out of curiosity, what is 7 mills?
Yeah,
Or
a mill in Stafford County is $1 of taxes for every $1,000 of assessed valuation.
Okay.
So, and every year is going to differ because your valuations are going to fluctuate. So I think the last time I looked, it was 83,000 or 84,000.
$83,300 for each mill at the county, based on the 2012 assessed valuation that we had for the 2012 budget. So, I mean, we're talking that we're already giving approximately 6 mills, because we typically, budget around $480,000 this past year for 2012. So if we do another $500,000, I mean, we're looking at 12 mills going to the hospital. I mean, in total. I mean, and it just depends how much they need each year, but the no fund warrants, yeah.
And this is kind of very basic, but it's for benefit of the hospital board, because they're obviously getting exposed to a lot of new terms today. Every county is going to have a different mill value. It'd be fun to be a county commissioner in McPherson County. Last time I looked, the mill there was $397,000. No fun to be a county commissioner in Jewell County, where I think their mill is worth about $18,000. We have some counties in Kansas that are very, very poor. They don't have the irrigated farmland and the oil production that Stafford County does. Then you get some that are just, it's an embarrassment of riches. Great Bend between the refinery and that underground gas storage thing they got going along 56 Highway.
You mean in McPherson?
Yeah, McPherson County is one of the, if you go by population, it's the wealthiest county in Kansas per person. Obviously Johnson County, Sedgwick County have more, but they also have a whole lot more people. McPherson's still a 5A high school.
Per year, we increase by 4%.
No, but we have to budget enough to pay at least 25% of the no fund warrants off each year, including the interest that's charged on those no fund warrants.
Right.
So I'm just saying that, like this year, it looks like, I mean, if we're already giving 6 mills, I mean, total, we're going to end up giving 12 mills out somewhere. I mean, because we're giving you 6 mills every year just for continuing
Right,
operations.
I understand that, but per
And it'd be
year, it
another
won't
6
be
mills. No, but
6 more mills.
we have to budget at least 25%, you're correct. And then on top of that, any money, according to the statute, now, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like any money that the hospital makes over their operating budget is required to go back to help assist.
It's also, that's by the statute, yes.
By
you're
statute,
correct.
I need copies of all those statutes then, because what's over the operating budget will be the operating budget or the operating results.
It says operating budget. Of the adopted budget, amount needed for the adopted budget, such money shall be used to pay for such warrants. And the tax levy will only bring the difference of it.
That's totally not even.
But if you're not making any money, you're not going to have any money to pay, so that's why the county's going to have to budget.
Yeah, they're by their best, most
We're lucky
optimistic guesstimate for 2012, they're going to still lose $126,000.
Well, with that, in the accounting world, a budget is an actual thing that's approved by the board of directors, and it's a guide. Not so for you guys, I understand that. For us, it's a guide. If we don't follow it because something happens, either good or bad, that's not a problem, but we don't have an official operating, we haven't met as a board to have an official operating budget for 2012, so if you need that now, the best thing you got is what I've already given now.
I don't know if we need it now, but I think it would be in your best interest to do one. I mean,
I think the other issue is that even though that operating budget is approved, it is not, we are not guaranteed that reimbursement.
Right.
We are, yeah, I mean, we have no idea what Medicare may do to us this next year. We have no idea what Kansas is going to do on the Medicaid payments this year. Our budget is there to view, but in reality, the budget and the numbers at the end of the year can be totally different. We are definitely at their mercy.
I think the statute's there is to kind of, just so the hospital, if they do make additional money, they just can't keep it. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
I think the budget being referred to is the budget that's prepared and approved in the summer of each year for the tax year. It wouldn't be there's really two different budgets. The hospital has a operating budget, and then there's
Yeah,
the tax
it's
budget.
your operating budget. It says if there's money available from the operation of the hospital over and above the amount needed, such money shall be used to pay for such warrants. So,
But I think in principle,
I don't
nobody would
think-
disagree with that.
yeah.
It's just saying, yeah. if you
I
have
think it's just to
extra-
kind of safeguard the county in case you did have additional.
That makes
I
sense.
think you said earlier that
Yeah.
if you had money, you would gladly take less.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, you
I
said
think
that
that's just
earlier
kind
in
of
the meeting.
safeguard the county though, I mean.
Sure. Yeah, at whatever the appropriate
Well, we
process.
hope we
You
do.
said that earlier.
We hope we do.
So we,
Yes. Flip that thing around.
Well, we need a motion.
So we need a motion to adopt the resolution, or a motion to initiate,
Motion to issue though.
to issue the
We'll
no
provide the
fund warrants.
paperwork later.
Yeah.
Intent.
I'll make the motion, we go ahead and issue no fund warrants for the Stafford County Hospital
For
for $555,000, which we paid back over a 4-year period.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded that we issue no fund warrants in the amount of $555,000. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried.
Thanks.
Thank you.
The
Thank
wheels
you
have
so
started.
much.
So,
And I will tell you that my plan is to meet with the staff too and tell them that you have made this motion this morning and that we can begin to plan for the future and that they have a responsibility in this too, and that's to help us do this.
I would schedule public hearings as soon as possible. At least 2.
so
You
now,
can have those public hearings, not like you gotta run illegal or anything, but it probably might not be a bad idea to put an ad in the newspaper.
Oh, yeah, you gotta let people know about them or nobody will show
Oh,
up.
yeah.
I think it'd almost be a good idea that if we get that in the paper this week, those public hearings go right along with it. I don't know, just an idea, but I think they probably need to be published all at the same time,
It's a
so
very good idea.
But make it more of an ad format for the
Mhm.
public meeting.
you
know,
have,
that
that
people-
way they
A
see
lot of
the.
people pay no attention to
They don't
legals.
listen.
Exactly, but that way, if you do have some people and some talk starts, they see that the public meetings are
Mhm.
scheduled, and you can say, you need to come, here it is, be informed.
And that they will get a chance to speak.
Yes, exactly.
Run those too. I've run those before, yeah, you're right. Here are the rules.
Or Hillary. Hillary Dixon.
so
Do you need anything else from us?
how soon you your public hearing dates? You're gonna have to think about that.
We're going to
but how
talk about
soon?
it today.
Talk about today, we'll hear from you by the end of the day, and we won't go into a recess so that we can.
You need to reset when it comes adjournment time today, do not adjourn. Recess.
Remind me of that, please.
I have a question about the public hearings. Are you all wanting to take part in that process, I'm
I think
assuming?
we better be there.
Yeah, and I think that's an
It's gonna be
excellent idea.
directed at us,
Mhm.
one way or another.
And maybe we can help deflect some of that.
Well, you better. Because we don't know the answers. All we know is what you've told us.
We're depending on you to have the information.
Right, so you let
Do you want handouts, or do you just want public, or just verbal statements?
Handouts will probably be,
You may need some
I
available.
think it'd be great to have handouts. It's like a hard one too.
I think you're gonna need
Good
those.
news,
like
the
to have
public
something
brings
that-
sometimes it works and sometimes.
You almost may need to put those handouts on the website and provide a link also, just have an idea.
If you guys can show, without giving away a lot of information that you shouldn't perhaps, but if you can show the people that you are going to be able to bring this thing in line, and put it in a hard format that people can look at, take home, it says so right here, this is what they've done, this is where they'll be. I think that could be helpful. It would be to me as a person. Because I can sit and listen, then I go home and then, well, what did they say? Or if somebody else says a different point of view. So, yeah, if that's possible. I don't know, you better come with all your guns loaded. Anything you can bring. Because there's going to be lots of questions, and they're going to be good questions.
Okay.
And I foresee you'll have a lot of testimonials too.
Good and
You take
I
the
would
good ones
think
though,
more-
and publicize
more
it
good
for your
than-
marketing campaign, that may
Exactly.
not be a bad idea.
More
I
good
mean,
than bad.
But
actually.
yeah, it wouldn't hurt to bring some testimonials with you.
Mhm.
That's up to you guys. We'll see how good at marketing you are. Starts now.
That would be Kelly's workday one. So, you know,
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Roger, it's not commissioning business, but where's your daughter going to school? Is it Baker? Baker, okay. I didn't know.
They're actually starting to win ball games.
Okay,
It's been a long struggle. They were 0 for 10.
okay.
Now they're
And
4
for
in a row.
your information and yours, Rick and I have talked, and we will stay on until this thing's.
That's all I can ask.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
We certainly will.
That's a big relief.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
That continuity is very important. Okay, we're still in session, is there? Everybody need to recess?
You want to add anything?
I think you're going down the right road here.
One thing you might want to keep in mind, again, sounds like I'm jumping the gun, but I'll assume a protest petition, because you're only talking 115, 127. That's not a whole lot.
Are you going to want to hold a second election?
Yeah.
How long does it take you to get the special election process? I mean, Terry and I were talking about that on the way over.
Well, if I can do it cheaply, if I hand print the ballots, don't go through the computerized ballots, I have to run through the ballot machine. If we hand count them, it's a lot quicker.
Get the election workers, they're gonna.
But I do have to have my workers lined up, I have to have publications done, spaced out. So it takes a couple months.
Well, it appears to me that there isn't.
I don't have time to write a mail ballot plan for this. If you want a mail ballot, we should have started a month ago.
Yeah, well, I know we should have started 6 months ago.
Because I have to write the plan, it's about this big, it has to be approved by the Secretary of State.
And we don't even know if we're gonna need an election. I guess my hope would be that they can make it long enough to do it. August primary, is that what it is?
August is the first election.
Regularly scheduled
Countywide.
countywide election.
But I need to know, because we'll have to pay for this election.
How much does that cost, roughly? Do you have any idea?
Special election,
6 or 7,000.
6,000.
I'd say 5.
So I was thinking about 6 for some reason.
I mean,
That
depends.
1 year we had to. Yeah.
Well, what you're wanting is to decide now if we're gonna have one?
No, I need an idea from you what I'm gonna have to do if it does protest.
We want that
Because I have to
question
build
to
my
be foremost
election
in your
calendar.
mind.
I
You
need
have
to
to make a
know,
quick
are you gonna
decision.
make them wait till August to put this
I
on
don't
a
think we can
ballot?
wait till
Or are we gonna do a special election?
Well, if we could, I would prefer it, but it doesn't sound like at this point they can, but I don't know, once they get their ducks in a row, it looks like they may not be quite as bad off as they may.
Well, we don't know. We may not have to have one.
We don't know that, but also I'm thinking that their savings might be
well
enough.
informed, we don't know.
They can make it happen. What are you thinking, huh?
From what I've seen in the numbers that I've looked at, in both here and at the Board of Directors meetings, I think if we can get the no-fund warrants, we're in good shape. But I don't know that without the no-fund warrants, if we had to go all the way to August, if we could do it, I don't know that the change in revenues are significant enough to keep the collectors at bay.
Can we speed up their payments from us and give them more money?
No, because it's based on tax collection. We don't know.
What if we held up some of your salary and gave it to them? That'd probably cause us more. Not even funny, I didn't get a smile out of you.
Well, I think we got,
I was joking.
So you don't mess with people's money.
we got some people now that are working on this and have some.
Well, there's 3
dollar
people right
figures.
there.
At least know what's going on in the hospital.
Right, Vita?
Yours hasn't been a long time. No, you ain't.
Okay, so we're looking at the middle of March, we will know whether, our 60-day period is going to be up. So I guess if we looked at a special election, you said it takes, what, a month or two, or?
Probably 1st of June is what I was figuring.
So we're looking at, okay, the 1st of June, we would have a special election, or we wait till August. Is the time savings of $6,000 beneficial enough? I think, is that what we're trying to get to?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
sorry, I'm just trying to summarize it in my
Yes.
mind here.
No,
So-
you're on the right track.
Is the 2-month wait period in my mind worth the $6,000, and how desperately does the hospital need it?
Exactly.
So basically, probably we should, if we don't want to make that decision now, keep it back in your mind, we probably need to evaluate what the hospital situation is like beginning of March before the 60-day period is up. And by that time, we'll know if we have the petition or not.
Yeah.
I think that's the big thing.
Yeah, well, we may not even
Yeah.
get a petition. I don't
We
know.
may not, it may not be a problem, but if we do, I think we'll know by that point. I don't know, that's just kind of what's going on in my mind. Is that, Joe, is that what you're, okay.
I think that's exactly right.
Of course, the hope is that public meetings will get information out to people enough to maybe avoid any petition.
Exactly.
Anything else?
But you're recessing.
Yeah. Is there anybody else?
No,
Yeah, there's
That's it.
you know,
So how do we recess?
just recess.
yeah.
Just go into recess until
Move to recess.
we're recessed.